Hey, folks, welcome back to the Work Cultured podcast. We are in season 3, and we've had amazing guests so far, and we have another one today. Today we have Hemant Madaan, and he is the CEO of OTS Solutions, has been for almost 22 years, also currently the CEO of Jump Growth, also currently the founder and investor in Sodality, started in 2020. He's an official member of the Forbes Technology Council. And, well, I mean, you guys get the point. Serial entrepreneur, founded lots of technology companies throughout his career. He's on boards. He's a mover and a shaker, exactly who we like to have on this show. And so, Hemant, thanks so much for being on. I'm excited to pick your brain.
Thank you, Jason. Thanks for having me. I think it's a pleasure to be on the show, and I'm looking forward to our chat today. Thank you for having me again. Thanks.
Yeah. So let's just dive in. Why don't you tell me a little bit about how you've gotten to where you are? I mean, we talked a bit ahead of time, and I love the story of being in India, getting to the U.S. So kind of give us a high-level snapshot of what that journey has looked like and felt like for you.
Sure. So, if I may, I think my journey, when I started realizing what I can do, started from very early years, around 11th grade. When I got my first computer, I was one of the lucky ones in my country, back in India, where my parents gave me a computer of my own, and I started hackling my skills around programming. And I realized pretty soon that I think will be a programmer or I'll be in technology. Coming from my business family background, my father always wanted me to join his business, which is into shoes. So he used to distribute, and he still distributes shoes in India. But I had my path pretty much set on technology side, as I said. But it was also clear to me that I would probably be in business in technology. So that kind of shaped my career from there. I started doing my graduation in management because I always knew that I'm good in technology. I need my other skills to be developed, which
Yeah,
was in
right.
management. So slowly developed them and did a couple of years for job. And then in 2002, I started my first company, which was OTS Solutions in India, with a small room and two employees, initial investment by my dad, nothing, without him. I've been always grateful to him for helping me in those years. His blessings have always helped me. So from there, I think in 13, 14 years, we've been providing digital solutions. We were providing and we are still providing digital solutions across the globe, primarily focused on US and Canada as a market, where we help people with digital solutions, and we've been helping them in digital solutions around software development, app development, web development kind of projects. And so grew that company from almost zero to 100 people in the span of 13 years. And then we realized that we're hitting a ceiling. And in 2000, I think 12 or so, I we realized that if we have to break the ceiling, we have to be closer to our clients, which were mostly in US at that time. So we decided to open an office in US. Um, Funny enough, US people or US government denied my visa in 2012.
Oh,
So
no.
I I lost my hopes. I was like, okay, this is not happening. What next? So the next number of clients, if I may, had were from Europe, and then I had Australia. So I somehow chose Australia. I traveled over there, loved the country, decided to open an office there. So I opened my second office outside India in Australia, started my residency activities and planning there. And God always has different plans, as I say. So I met with a lawyer, and he came, met me in India, and he was a good immigration lawyer from US. And he came, he checked out the office. He was like, "You are a genuine guy. I don't understand why US people would not like you, and we would be very happy to represent you." And that changed the overall game. 2014, I got my L1 visa, which was to set up a new office as a subsidiary of my Indian company, and that's how I started my travel. I brought my family in 2015. My son was only 30 days old. My wife still
Wow.
fights with me for that. But yeah, we brought him here. And 3 years we stayed in New Jersey, New York area. 2018, we realized it's too cold for us, and we scouted for places, and Dallas kind of checked all the check boxes. We moved to Dallas in 2018, and then since then, I've got a green card. I'm a resident of US now. We have grown from what we were to today, which is around 120 people across all our offices. So we have two offices back in India, one over here. And with that time, I realized that there is specific focus which is required from our brands. So today, if I may say, OTS has become an umbrella brand, and we have these micro brands which are focused towards different service lines that we offer. And today we offer three different service lines. One is job growth, which is purely into digital solutions or digital engineering services. Then we have Apta Cloud, which we are about to launch, which is about all about cloud services and what we can do from the cloud side of it. And then we are also coming up with pure staffing services and solutions called as Talent Soul. So these are three sub brands under the umbrella brand of OTS. And with time, I've also got the opportunity to be on board as a CTO in various companies, helped a few clients being on board. I also started a different company altogether, completely separate from OTS, called Sodality, as you mentioned. That's a white label technology platform for nonprofits. I saw that that industry is very underserved in terms of technology. They're always running short of money, and but they all require technology to run nonprofits and organizations, and there are a ton of them. I discovered. So there's definitely a need. Less number of available products in the market. So I did find that niche. We started our version one last year. We were in development for 2 years, and this year we are launching our version three. We've
Mm.
got active 125 customers over there as well. And we are still in the process of, we've got our cash flow started, I think, 2 months back, but still not profitable. So I'm still investing in that, bootstrapping
Yeah.
that. And all my companies are bootstrapped so far. I've not taken any external funding so far. So that's my journey, and looking forward to, and very excited to be on journey, I must say. I mean,
Yeah.
as people say, I'm an entrepreneur by heart. I think people do ask me what really made you start, and I'm like, I was mad. It was pure passion initially, and then I always say I started as an entrepreneur, and I moved to become a businessman as I went ahead and said. So yeah, that's my
Yeah.
journey so far.
Yeah. I think if people are wondering if they should be an entrepreneur, then they're not certain they should. Entrepreneurs do it because they have to. Like, we'd have no
They have to.
choice. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'd be miserable and die inside if we didn't.
I know. And I mean, to all the entrepreneurs who are still thinking whether they should do it or not, if you have to take a plunge, don't think about it, because you'll figure it out eventually. If it's written, then you will be able to figure it out somehow. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember my days when I was still thinking of doing it. I used to get like dreams at 3 a.m. and wake myself up. What am I doing? Why am I doing this job? I need to do something on my own. That's what I'm made for. And there was a calling which was always there, as you said. If we have to do it, we got to do it. So that's how it kind of
Yeah.
turned out. Yeah.
Yeah. But now you're waking up at 3 a.m. because that's when your other employees are awake, and you're probably still asking the same question: why am I doing this?
I mean, think, I think it's an entrepreneur's dilemma, if I may. You After running the business, even after 20, 22 years, you still kind of at times feel, "Hmm, did I do it? I mean, why did I even think of doing it?" But then on the other hand, I'm always like, but what else? You cannot do anything else. This is what you were made for. This is what, God kind of carved me for. So I'm here for
Yeah.
that. So yeah, that's how it is.
I love that. That's so cool. Well, we're going to jump into that question that I warned you about. It's the one we ask everybody on the show. What is a mistake that you've made in leadership that you'll never forget?
Hmm. Not one. I think if I have to
Of
kind of
course.
point, I think it's all about entrepreneurship is all, a lot of it, if I may, is driven by your intuition and what you need to do next. And in that intuition, sometimes it's wrong. So when you kind of do a retro on that, you realize that, hey, these are the mistakes I did. So there are many mistakes which I can think of, but three that kind of stand out for me. One is that in the initial years as a leader, I was more driven by my passion than real data. And I think if I had more systems and more processes in place, and I would have taken better decisions at that time, and I would have grown my business much faster than what I was able to at that time. But hey, it's journey. So that's one mistake I believe. Second mistake which I learned, with time is how not to micromanage. Um, I run three different brands. I run a totally different business also in parallel. And my calling is that I need to do around 8 to 10 businesses in my life and maybe run them in parallel. That's my calling from inside. I want to do that. And I can only do that if I learn how to not to manage. So but at times, I must also say that as an entrepreneur, you are driven by action where you want to get onto that micro level and just do that instead of giving the baton to the people to do for you. And then that's what the art is, how to kind of make that balance and make that know that when you have to ask or rely on people to finish the job instead of you doing it. So that's another learning for me, mistake
Yeah.
that I've made initially, micromanagement, too much micromanagement. Third thing which I would like to mention is that I have learned that I cannot be um, too comfortable. With running a business for 22 years, you kind of get into a comfort zone and you're like, okay, I mean, I've hit some goals in my life and I'm living a comfortable life. My family is, I'm able to live my expenses. I'm able to have a comfortable life. Then what next? And that's when I believe that I stop innovating. And I've learned with my that mistake that that should not that happens, that's human, but that should not, live for a long period of time. And every 3 months, 6 months, I ask this question to myself: hey, are you being too comfortable? Are you is what next? What is really there that you would like to achieve next? And because goals are endless, so these days I'm working on certain things for myself, and I'm trying to come out of this comfort shell, which God is being very kind in making me in, but then I have to break that to get to my next level. So those are three primarily, if I may say, the mistakes that I've done or I have been making, and then learning from them as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, amidst all the success that you've seen, right, having a more than 2 decade old company, what do you think are some of the secrets? What are some of your superpowers that has helped you be successful for so long and to build this? I mean, obviously you're learning from mistakes, right? You're walking away from the micromanaging, delegating better. You're not letting yourself get comfortable. You have real data, like there's systems and things in place, but like, is there something you would point to and say, this is my superpower, or this is really the secret sauce?
I think two things. One is people. I must acknowledge my team and my people. That's my superpower. I think without them, no leader, no entrepreneur can go anywhere. It's a team effort. It's not a single person's job to build a company or to run a company for two decades. And it's you need to invest in your people, retain good people who feel the same values and who feel the same goal as you and you feel the same vision as you. And also, on the other hand, you need to let go the people who don't dream the same dreams with you. So that's the key piece. That's the superpower that one has to have, and I believe I have that in hiring the right people, retaining them, and then building a good team so that I can then focus on my bigger goals. And you know but it's difficult. It's difficult to uh, have that vision, that flame of vision always um, shine bright in front of the people, if I may. So it's not easy. It's not easy
Yeah.
when you get new people in the leadership, or when you have to retain people. With time, people lose their focus. You have to bring them back. All those things have been my superpower, because of which I believe I've been able to sustain. And the second thing which I'd like to say is the resilience. It's so important, so important. I think, as I said earlier, that so many times as an entrepreneur, you get frustrated. You get like, man, is this really worth it? I mean, if I was in a cushiony job, I would have probably earned 5x more, on a regular basis. But then, is this really worth what I'm doing? But then, that from inside, when you feel that resilience, you feel that no, man, you got to do it, and that helps. So that's the big superpower, my people and my resilience, that has always helped me to, again, get up from the bed and do it every day for the last 20 years.
Yeah, resilience falls into one of those uh, soft skills, the emotional intelligence. That's an emotional intelligence skill, and we're not necessarily born with that. We have to learn that over time. What do you think has been some of the best ways you've learned how to be more resilient?
Oh man, in all honesty, I think it came with a bit of downturn moments. So in the past 20 years, I've seen two recessions, if I may. One was in 2007-8, when the
Mhm.
whole economic crash happened. Then second is COVID. So with tough times, you start learning to be more tough. And I remember a day when we had 75 employees, and then in 2008 crash, we were dropped down to only 25, 27 employees. So I had an option of shutting down the business and do something else. But then the question was what? Because the whole market was down, and I knew technology, but then nobody was buying
Yeah,
technology at that time.
yeah,
So there was no other option but to be more resilient at that time. And just, I always say that in tough times, that's a time when you just, lower your head and just keep floating with whatever is coming. Try to adjust your expenses and learn that resiliency pays in the end. So patience is very important, and that has helped me with those cycles. And it has been all up and down. And the journey has never been like this. It has been always like this. People don't see that,
yep,
but
yep,
that ups and downs, and of course the responsibility of your family. They rely on you. They've been a big pillar of strength for you, and then it slowly develops into resilience, and gives you that power of coming back again and again from those things.
yeah.
And now I think it's part of, now after 20 years, I must say, it's part of my life. It has become like a daily thing. Okay, this happened, fine, let's move on, like that.
Yep. Yep. It is absolutely part of daily life,
Yeah.
especially that of an entrepreneur. I know that you guys use EOS in house as like a structure and a system that you implemented, I think you said about 3 years ago. And
Right.
it talks a lot about right people, right seats. So
Right.
does, so do most books on business and building a good, successful company. But very few of them offer a really great, solid way of actually doing that. So
Hmm.
we know right people, right seats is paramount. How does that work for you? Being one of your superpowers, how do you make sure you're putting the right people in the right seats?
Great question. I think, and give you a little bit of reflection on US. We were not doing US, obviously for many many years, and then around 5 years back, I think before COVID, we did our 90-minute session with an EOS implementer, and in just those 90 minutes, it gave a lot of value. And uh, the business is right now operated between me and my brother, who works from India. And we both took some takeaways from that meeting, and we started implementing on our own. And we did that for 6 8 months. But as it was, we did that for 6 8 months, and then after that we just left it. We got bored or whatever. There was no structure, there was no consistency, whatever. But then after a couple of years, we realized that we were the most successful when we were doing the DOS. So we picked DOS back. We realized that there was a certain change that was coming when we were doing those those months. We And then we brought in an implementer, and that changed the whole game for us. I know it's a longer answer, but I wanted to kind of build you some narrative around it. So that brought in a lot of value in terms of us understanding the value of culture, us understanding the value of values, and we started questioning things like, okay, who is your most successful employee and what are the common traits that you would like to see in all those employees? That's how we started in execution. We started understanding what's a right person in the right seat for us is. And we started identifying certain key values that we see or would like to see in all our successful employees. And we came out with six of our values, which kind of build today our RPRS. I call it RPRS algorithm, if I may. And so we started with those six values that we identified, and we wrote them down on the paper. We communicated that to everybody, and we made them realize how important it was for us
Hmm.
to execute on these values. And fast forward to today, our performance review system, which is baked into our internal ERP system, which we have built with years. Today, our performance system, all our middle managers and senior leaders are required to grade everybody on these values every month, on how these values are seen, and we grade them on three levels, whether they are only somewhat seeing them,
Hmm.
or they are seeing them every time, or they are not seeing them at all. And with
Yep.
these checks and balances every month, the HR function in our company gets an email if there is an exception on any of these values reported by any of the managers, which gets then bubbled up very quickly to the management that there is an RPRS issue over there. Um, and we need to take an action. So that's on the corrective side. On the appraising side and acknowledging side of these RPRS or the values that we have identified, we also do things like we our HR team sends out a reminder or a value acknowledging email every week. So every Friday, it's sent to everybody. Hey, this is the value of the week. This is what we are living for. And we do a monthly town hall, and in that town hall, the middle managers are required to praise out one of their team members on the value with an example that, hey,
Mm.
this is what I saw with this guy. So, like, our six values are being honest, we communicate well, we work smart, we are helpful, we are experts in what we do, and we are open for challenges. So, out of these six values, whatever they observed in that month from any of the team members, they would call that out and they would praise in front of the whole company. So 100 to 120 people, they all hear that out, and that feels good. And we all, everybody kind of looks up to what these values are and how can they behave or believe or operate within those channels of those values. So that's how we are slowly building the
Mm.
value ecosystem and the thing. And I always tell when I have to explain to people, and the HR people tell or explain to others, is the values are like they are not elaborately told to you, but they are felt in the way you behave with others or the way you behave in a culture or environment. And but then that still needs to be communicated. As our US implementer and my coach, he tells me that it's not communicated if you're not communicating at least 7 times. So
Yep.
we have to communicate every time. Over communication is better than less communication. So I've learned that. That's one of the other things you've learned as a leader. We have to communicate more than less. So we've built these small fillers or enforcements in these memory of people so that they understand how important values are for us. And we today, I would like to strongly say that we hire and we fire and we promote internally on the basis of these values, because of which we know that these are the people that are in the right seats for us and they are the right people for us going forward.
Yeah, one of the things I love about what you're saying is it- you it sounds like you were 15, 17 years in and hadn't even really defined core values. You were successful, but now you've put this hyper emphasis on values and it's permeating your entire company and it's making you even more successful. And I remember the first time you talked, you said, culture eats strategy for breakfast or something along those lines, right? And
Absolutely, yeah.
it sounds like you're really living that in every aspect.
Yeah, and I must also acknowledge it's not been easy.
Nope.
See, I have to manage two different countries, and two countries have very different culture. And I
Yep.
mean, we are a small company, but we're still global. If somebody asks me, okay, what kind of problems do you see? I always tell them I see problems which are almost same as a very large company which is operating globally because
Hmm.
my people are global. Their culture is different. Most of my workforce is in India, and there was so much of difference in terms of their understanding of communication and then people from here and their understanding of communication. I mean, simple things like, uh, when I compare in people from Indian origin, they are bound to say yes without thinking. So there was a big communication issue there. If you ask them, "Hey, is this done?" They would say, "Yes, it's done," and then you would just open up and you would say, "No, it's oh, sir, this was the only thing left. Otherwise, it was done." So then you have to kind of tell them, you have to communicate clearly to the
Yeah.
clients that it's not done till the time it's done. So these things, we are improving on that on a daily basis. Communicating clearly is one value which we would like to impart, and that is a make or break, thing in our business. It's so
Yeah.
difficult to communicate clearly, and I've seen a lot of projects failed because of bad communication, and that's something which we have learned with years, and so that value for us plays such an important part.
Yeah. What you know, there's a lot of things you guys are doing really well. It sounds like, and um, no matter how good we do, there's always something keeping us up at night.
Correct.
What would you say that is for you right now?
Oh, okay. Well, right now, technology industry per se is not doing that great in for the past 10 to 11 months. So the growth has so like last year we grew around 70%, and we wanted to grow around 50% this year, but it's looking very difficult. I think at best, if I may, probably hit around 15%, which is not great from what it's still okay, but not great from our own
Yeah.
internal parameters that we had set for ourselves. So that's one thing which is kind of keeping me up in the night, if I
Hmm.
may. I mean, not really not literally up, but yeah, that's something which is troubling me these days. And I
Yeah.
want to go higher than that, but and it's not that we are not putting in effort. We're putting in exactly same effort that we put in last time, or maybe more, but we're not getting that kind of response from the market. So sometimes you have to kind of, just float with the way the things are going, and then start putting in more effort when things start falling in shape.
Yeah. Is that one of the reasons? It sounds like a couple of the product lines are new or even not even launched yet. Is that what I heard?
That is correct. So yes, cloud is new for us. It's a new service line for us, and we're still building that business. IT staffing, which we've been doing for the past 2 years, we've launched that as a separate brand right now. But as we've seen, there are a lot of tech layoffs that have happened in the past
Mhm.
year or so. Almost 35% business of ours comes from IT staffing, and that is currently an all-time low because people are not really hiring new people, and so things are a little difficult. Um, Digital engineering is good, so that's still going fine, but we're still not getting that much growth because people are not really investing in new projects at this time. Also, to do with it is an election year, so that
Yeah.
people are playing a wait and watch game, how
Hmm.
things will turn out after October and November, and then we are all anticipating that it would probably come back properly in the Q1 2025.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like is up in the air. We're not sure
It
what
is.
is going to happen. And technology is interesting too, because it's changing faster than it ever has. And
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
AI is a
So
factor, obviously. And
yeah, I was about to say that. I think I'm not sure how much have you seen AI, but if I may call myself, being an insider from technology, AI is going to change a lot in the next few years, and we've already started seeing those changes and impact in internal operations of our company as well as the external client impact as well. For example, the innovation in digital engineering that we do, we've been asked a lot now to build in or to build new AI features pretty much in all the projects that we're doing. And we've already done that successfully, but that has been asked very frequently now. And internally, now our developers are using more AI tools to code faster. Like we're
yeah,
doing, GitHub Copilot and Amazon Q, and these things have really helped us by reducing the effort by almost 15-20% for a developer, which is a big thing.
yeah,
So yeah, I think those things are definitely changing the overall market and game for sure.
yeah. Are you seeing faster delivery for your clients as well as a result?
Yeah, almost 15-20%. That's what we are. We are
That's
actually
awesome.
one of the few, one of the few first adopters of that technology, and that is a big differentiator that we are claiming and marketing ourselves as. If somebody comes and uses us over our competition, we say that we deliver faster with the help of these tools that we have provided to our developers, and we are seeing some real value over there for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, Hemant, this has been a great interview. We've covered a lot of ground. Before we kind of move to the end, is there anything that has come to mind as you were thinking about coming to the podcast ahead of time, or anything that we've talked about? What's at the top of your mind that you're just like, I need to say this about company culture, about the IT landscape, or anything else for our listeners?
Yeah, sure. So I think one thing which I would like to probably, end up, or if I may, end up on is never stop learning. I think that's what kind of summons everything up of the 20 years journey that I've had, be it culture, be it entrepreneurship, be it IT landscape, be it new service lines, be it launching a new company, be it being successful overall,
Hmm.
never stop learning. That is the crux of it. You have to completely, I mean, there have been times where the technologies that we were using to develop, simply just evaporated the next year. So we had to
Yeah,
reskill our overall skill set and our team completely. So that's something which I've learned. I never stop learning. I invest at least 4 to 6 hours in a week only on learning new things, how to do things better, and that's how I think every entrepreneur should move forward
yeah.
and make a better culture and make more successful companies. So that's what I would like to wrap it up on.
I love that. And then actually, it also relates to the resilience you talked about. You
Absolutely.
can't learn new things if you can't admit where you have shortcomings.
Agreed.
I worked for a
Yeah.
CEO one time who I was like, hey, will you read this book? I picked the shortest one I could possibly think of because I know you don't like to read. And he literally said to me, I'm however old I am, I'm done learning new things. And I was just like, if I ever say that, somebody needs to shoot me. That is, please.
Oh, oh no. I mean, if I show you my Kindle library, I pretty much buy almost a book or two every week. I'm not a, I mean, I'll be honest. I think I would love to learn more and I would love to read more, but it gets difficult with age, if I may. But I think I'm still getting there. I still kind of read around. I'm always reading at least one book every time in parallel to my work. So yeah, I haven't stopped learning.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree completely. Do you have any books that you would recommend? Any recent that you think are just absolutely incredible and we need to check out?
Well, I'm learning the money management these days. So the book from Tony Robbins, there's a series of money management and financial and all that. So I'm learning these days and on that, I'm reading that. So that's pretty good. Psychology of money is really good about money. If somebody wants to learn about money and how money operates, uh, if you've read about the lean startup way, I will highly recommend that book by Eric. I think it's called Lean Startup.
Okay.
It's really good. I think those are amazing books which have really impacted me. I'm also a big fan of Ayn Rand, which is she writes fiction or she used to write fiction, but more business side of fiction. So I've learned a lot from my passion came from those books. So that was really nice as well.
Yeah. Okay. Great. We'll make notes of that too. How about shameless plugs? Anything that you want to advertise or plug before we end out?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as I said, we are a digital engineering company and good at it. We've been doing for the past 20 years. So if somebody is looking to build any innovation products or maybe build out some AI features into existing products or existing software or looking for some complex integrations for their business between software technologies, feel free to give us a shout. We are at jumpgrowth.com and you can just fill out a form over there or just send us an email at sales@jumpgrowth.com and we'll be happy to help you. And we're based out of Dallas, so if somebody is in Dallas DFW area, you would like to meet up for a coffee, I'm always up for new networking and meeting up and learning new things from people. So happy to chime in and happy to pay for the coffee if somebody's interested. Yeah, happy for that.
You heard it. You heard it here, y'all. Get DFW free coffee right there. Uh, yeah. So, all right, hey, Mount, we got one more section. It's our quick fire. So I'm just going to say this or that, and you tell me what comes to mind. The first one, you're going to make some friends or enemies, dogs or cats.
Not pet lover, I'll be honest. Kids.
Yep, yep.
No, dogs,
Kids.
not pets.
Yeah,
Kids,
no,
yeah.
the kids, no pets. Okay. Salt or pepper?
Salt,
Okay. Chocolate or vanilla?
chocolate any day.
Any day. iOS or Android?
iOS. I don't like Android personally. I'm an iOS guy.
Same. Last one. When it comes to reading, and I think you may have already answered this, but hard copy or audiobook?
Oh, Kindle. So I,
Kindle?
I used to love hard copies, but now with the amount of books that I carry, it's difficult to kind of manage them once I've read them. So I like to keep them in a library on Kindle. Not
Yep.
audiobooks, but like print on Kindle.
Yep. 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 I guess that was just my bad. It was a bad question because you already mentioned your Kindle. So
Kindle, yeah.
I love that. Hey, thanks so much for all of the golden nuggets, all of the good insights. Never stop learning. That's going to be in the title, I'm sure, of the episode. Um, yeah, Hemant, you've been a great guest. Appreciate everything. Uh, I don't think we have anything else, so I will just sign us off. Sound good?
Thank you. Thanks, Jason.
All
Yeah,
right.
absolutely. And once again, thank you for having me. And it was a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you all for listening or watching the Work Culture Podcast. We will see you next time.